Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast.
This is the King of Average podcast with your boy Bibi and
Melik, let's do this.
and this is episode 3. There you go. Start with an again. Yeah, today's podcast was kind of off of a whim. It was a shower thought that slowly turned into a text message. Hey, do you want to record tonight? And he was like, yeah, I'm down. So here we are. We don't have Lee's coffee today, but we do have our sour strips, which is...
That's a must.
Yeah, it's pretty necessary.
It's either Lee's coffee or sour strips.
Yeah. Or headaches from older brothers.
Oh, yeah. That's episode 4. And 5 and 6 and 7.
Those are the unrecorded episodes.
Oh, my God. All right, so you were telling me all about this. I'm super excited to dive into it. Tell the people what they're... hoping to get into.
Yeah. So I recently, there's been a few events in my life, mainly as it pertains to business, that are a little bit kind of like turned over, a little bit on the downside for me, and which is a necessary thing in life that will happen. Maybe we can kind of expand on that as well. Kind of talk about how, hey, life is not even when you shift your mindset towards the growth mindset, towards like becoming a hustler and just grinding and sacrificing. Sometimes you're not going to go through only happy days. There's going to be hills, but there's also going to be valleys. So maybe we can discuss that as well.
Yeah.
But as of lately, alhamdulillah, things have turned a little bit upside down for me in terms of business. Basically, there's a bit of a downside in terms of business right now. And when it comes down to a downside in business, you got to realize it's not just about, hey, a couple bad days. You know, when all of your major concerns of what could go wrong in your business all happen at once, everything kind of goes wrong. All of a sudden, your financials are at risk. All of a sudden, that has a chain reaction to not just necessarily your mood or your goals and how your trajectory towards your goals is looking like, but it's also going to affect your family. And that obviously becomes the biggest concern. If I did not have other people that relied on me, if it was purely based on me, myself, my living situation, and kind of like, in a sense, my comforts, then maybe there would be less anxiety involved. Maybe there would be less stress involved. But this is a situation in which I'm a little bit tight on being able to support those around me. So obviously a huge anxiety, but nonetheless. Yeah, as of recently, everything's kind of just turned on its head, and without a doubt, put me in a position where it forced me to think twice as hard, move twice as fast, onto basically like in regards to, okay, how do I solve this? But also, what's next, right? One of the biggest things that we take away from, or we kind of like implement in life in general, that comes from the Quran, which is so beautiful, so special. It kind of makes sense as to why it's one of the things that is recommended as part of the Sunnah, that you should recite the last 2 ayahs of Surah Al-Baqarah every night before you sleep, right? Within them, there is a specific part where it goes, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها, which, rough translation, is God will not bear, or God will not force a person to bear more than they can handle. And it's beautiful when you apply this to any aspect of life. You can apply it to business, as we will do now. I used to also apply this to school, because a college degree is not necessarily the easiest thing in the world. You can apply it to aspects of a job that you're working. You can even apply it to aspects within your family.
But the beauty of...
Like your brother.
But the beauty of that, though, is it puts your situation to perspective.
100, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're like, okay, how worse can it get? How can I make this better? Right? So that right there kind of, in a way, alleviates some sort of the anxiety, because it forces you almost to take a step back, take a breath, and truly analyze the situation and go from there.
Agreed. And with a little bit of kind of like relief of the tension, you definitely can kind of approach the situation with more of a clear head.
Yeah.
Because you sit there and you're like, oh my God, it's all gone to crap.
Yep.
And then your mind just goes down.
The world's
this
on
tunnel,
fire.
100%.
The whole world's against me.
Your mind just goes into this rabbit hole of
a failure. And whatever I touch next, all right, what else is going to happen in my life? What else am I going to mess up? Or what else, you know what I'm saying, is randomly just going to mess up in my life? Whether it be family relations, whether it be business or whatever it is. So, like, it's very easy for a time of vulnerability, really, anxiety, whatever you really want to call it, in order for us to really bring out the worst in us.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Even of how confident we are, of how strong-minded we at least believe we are, there is a breaking point to all of us. But yet again, it's like, you were once a personal trainer. In order to grow muscles, you have to completely break down or tear up the muscles, basically, right? In order for it to grow stronger.
And it becomes really like, it makes you lose motivation, right? When you go through whatever these headaches are that just keep coming up.
You're seeing the darkness,
right?
You're not seeing the light.
You literally can't see the light. It's crazy. You start to just count your days until you've hit ground zero, and it's like, oh my god, like everything's just gonna go crap from there. But basically, when you remember that لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها, it really, like we said, it brings out, at least for a moment, at least for a little bit, it brings a little bit of sense of comfort in your heart and your mind. It relieves a little bit of weight off your shoulders, to where now you can sit and think, hey, and this is a key concept in my life altogether that I love to apply to any stressful situation. Anything where it seems like there's a problem and you have a deadline as to when to come up with a solution. It's always good to where, if you have to relieve some stress, get it off your chest, vent to it to your friend, your brother, whatever, blah, 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 blah. You vent about it a little bit.
Healthy ways.
In healthy ways, yeah, absolutely. Just to like ease some pressure, then yeah, by all means. But it's always important that whenever something goes wrong in life, it's always important, and this can especially be applied to relationships. This can especially be applied to friendships. Take a step back, identify the problem, and then ask yourself a quick question. Okay, from here, what's the resolution? Because no matter what goes wrong, as long as your mindset is focused towards a resolution, or at least that a resolution does exist, slowly but surely your thoughts and actions will move in the direction of a resolution. I think we were explaining the same concept with mindset. Once you focus, hey, growth is possible, you will naturally move towards the direction of growth, right?
And you're speaking it to existence. So even if that time that you may think that like you're just telling yourself lies, maybe that's the little bit of hope that you need. That just being completely naive for that 1 second, that everything will go right, or at least something will go right in such a negative situation.
Positive attitude, yeah.
That will turn around your attitude. That will actually just make, I don't know, everything kind of fall into place. It'll give you guidance. It'll shift your perspective back to the right path, out of the whole slump. Maybe not completely out of it, right? But at least for the most part, it'll kind of push you towards, like, anxiety is basically what gets the job done, right? Because without any sort of pressure, without any sort of, like, deadline or whatever it is, right? I don't think a lot of things will be done. It's a tough situation.
It is.
I could speak about it, of like how you should stay strong and however it is, but let's all be true with each other. I'm not currently going through what you're going through.
Yeah, and that goes for everybody else as well. You just don't understand what people deal with.
Yep.
Just start breakdown.
Get it together. Strong mindset.
Yeah. But basically, the point that, or not really the point, but within the whole situation, I remember at some point, one of the nights, I was sitting there, I was making dua after Isha. I was basically just talking to God, and I remember saying, I was like I'm confused. Like, what's happening? What's going on? Without a doubt, it's at some point, while I was making dua, while I was kind of having this conversation, I asked the question, is this the pressure that I've been asking of you, that you are now giving to me, in order for me to really just grow, really just develop different habits, really just make the necessary sacrifices, really just put myself in a different mode altogether? Because no doubt we dream a lot, and we have, alhamdulillah, it's always good to have big dreams. Sometimes you put life on cruise control and you're looking for one vibe to the next, reservations here, reservations there, chill with the homies here, all the vibes. And in order for me to actually achieve the goals that I have in my mind, that I have written down, maybe I do need a little bit more out of myself. Maybe I do need to go through some degree of pressure that I haven't gone through before. Pressure in which really it's all balanced on my head, and it's either going to make me or break me. And for another moment of relief for me, because I kind of just sat there and I was like, you know what, maybe this is the pressure I need. Whether you're whoever you are, but as a man, when somebody tells you, oh, if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen, you're gonna toughen up for a second.
That's a challenge.
That's a challenge. You can be like, oh,
Yeah,
you're calling me a wuss?
Yeah.
Nah. Maybe this is the pressure I need.
I mean,
I'll take it on.
to like go on to that, having that heart to heart with God,
Mm-hmm.
with Allah, is so it's something I can't even explain.
Yeah.
When you literally have talked to everyone that you're close to, and not even that is giving you some sort of comfort,
Mm-hmm.
the only person that can, or the only deity that can, is that one-on-one talk.
At the end of the day, it's all in His hands.
You're just completely, everything's on, everything's out, everything that you actually have is just you're either in ruku' or you're either like, you know what I'm saying, like you're just, or your hands are up in the sky. It's just you. No one's listening. You're just completely alone, and
you can be vulnerable.
you don't have to worry about how you could properly phrase things to
Mm-hmm.
make, have it make sense. I mean, some of my du'as, I say things and I'm trying to like properly phrase them, but then I'm like, dude, no. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody's judging you.
Yeah, exactly, right? So if I you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
then I don't have anyone to roast me like you, bro. If my voice cracks for whatever reason, I don't have anyone to do it. But just having that one-on-one, man, it's unexplainable.
Mm-hmm.
It's a feeling that's pure relief. It's peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. So pressure is necessary. And it kind of brings me back. It kind of brings me to the idea where we are blessed. No matter what, even whatever I'm going through right now, we still are blessed to be in this country, to have the opportunities we have, to have the families we have, to be in the living situations that we're in. Really, we don't have it rough. And when we talk about pressure, this is kind of like pressure towards something that I've somewhat already developed. This isn't pressure of me being in a new country, don't know the language that well, and I gotta figure it out from there.
Or have little to no education.
Absolutely.
On top of everything that you just named off.
When you take into consideration the situation that most of our parents' generations gone through, especially as immigrants, when they came to this country, that was literally them. They had to work the most dirt of jobs just to earn a living, to live. When you look at that generation, the majority of them have crazy successful businesses, they own property, and they're just the undercover millionaires that you don't know you live next to. And it was all because of that pressure, because they came to a country that had almost nothing in their pocket, but the only thing they said to themselves was, I gotta figure this out and I gotta make it happen. And I'm losing the word specifically, but it's
I mean, look, success is the only option.
Right.
That's literally it.
Mm-hmm.
It's either you're gonna sink or you're gonna swim.
Yeah.
But your parents, my parents, right? Like my parents, for example, they came with 2 babies.
Oh wow.
To America. So on my dad, it was more like he was tired. He didn't even speak a lick of English.
Still doesn't.
No, probably still doesn't. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it's just success is the only option, man.
Mm-hmm. And without pressure, how are you gonna get there?
Yep.
Without pressure, how are you gonna get there?
That builds a tough shell.
Mm-hmm. Builds character.
That builds a lot of character. That builds confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can now, or my dad in this example, could go back while he's going through whichever situation. He's like, hold up, I've been through worse.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing will ever get to that point. So he has that confidence to, when he's feeling all that anxiety, when he's feeling all that pressure, when he's feeling all that, he doesn't crack. He doesn't break. He's like, all right, Bismillah, and he goes through.
What's the resolution?
That's it.
How do you solve this problem?
Because when you have everything to lose,
mm-hmm.
you only can focus on the resolution. You're like, I don't care what I have to do, or what I have to talk, or who I have to talk to, or what I have to say. I'm gonna have to do what I have to do, right? And we slowly have to learn that. And obviously, alhamdulillah, we were born into this country. We were able to grow up and have an education and everything else, right? So from the get-go, we're already steps, miles ahead of our parents.
Miles ahead.
Not even steps, miles away, like miles ahead of our parents. And one thing when ish is hitting the fan, or maybe I'm tired at work or whatever it is, it's like I always think to myself, it's like, my dad was tired. What's my excuse?
Mm-hmm.
My dad was tired, but he still pushed through. What's my excuse? All right, no. Can't think of any? Hustle.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going. So, yeah, man. Hopefully this is going to be a learning lesson. It always is. And this is something that we can all take into consideration, that like we all want to, or at least not all, but the majority of us, we want a successful life. We want some sort of pride of saying like, we're an entrepreneur, we have our own business, self-made, blah blah blah, right? The whole persona. But is everyone able to take the pressure? Now, when you're in that position, that truly shows: are you game or you're not?
Yes.
No.
So donate to the GoFundMe. Yeah. Joe, I would love that joke. Yeah. Oh man, I got a car in Mexico right now. What the hell is happening?
Now it's coming out, man. Everyone's probably like, "What is this guy talking about?"
Yeah,
man?
for real.
This guy's going through it.
I got fired from Starbucks. Yeah, man, pressure is necessary, and I'm excited. I'm excited for the pressure. There's a little part of me that's actually excited because mentally right now I've almost completely turned that switch off, where it's like I don't care about anything but breathing. Right, talking about that one speech that guy gave, where he was like with like a mentor or a monk or something, and then he took him into the water. And then he kept going deeper and deeper into the water until he eventually told him, like, "Yo, it's too deep. I can't breathe anymore." And he goes, "The same way you're desperately fighting to get air, you need to be desperately fighting for success." So slowly but surely, because of this whole situation that I'm in right now, I'm slowly turning off that switch. I don't care how I look. I don't care what I wear. I don't care about going out. I don't care about catching a vibe. It's like I'm almost like just completely about to just shut everything out.
You're in go mode.
I'm in go mode right now. I'm almost there. So I'm a little bit excited because I know it's necessary. I always try to find the easy way to get a new side hustle going, the easy way to, get a couple $100 more per week or per month or whatever, to kind of just add to my overall income. But it's like, forget the easy routes. It's time to tighten your shoes and hit the trail hard. So I'm excited. Whatever will come out of this, I know won't only be the solution that God has for me, but it will be the start of what eventually will become the base of my future. And I'm not just a positive guy for the hell of it, but I always like to take things into like concepts and theories and stuff like that. And I'm a very observant person as well. And subhanAllah, within the timing of all of this, I will have my LLC by Wednesday.
Nice.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Let's go.
Absolutely. So that's why I'm excited.
That's cool, man. But like, look, you said something important when you started talking about like you're not, positive for no reason, right? We're not out here like, oh, the world's good, the world's beautiful. Here we are, everything's great, mindset, beautiful, right? We go through it, but it's how we handle certain situations. It's either the world's on fire or there's some sort of route. That's exactly how it is. So that positivity is going to drag you out, get you out of that mud, and then force you to either crawl or to walk into like, to survive, right? That's just so important to me. So
that's actually huge. It's a huge point because more often than not, and this is very, very typical of like Arab cultures. I don't want to say other cultures as well because I know we can talk smack about Arabs, no problem.
Easy.
But they love
complaining?
not just complaining.
Oh yeah, dude, we're good at that.
They love complaining, but they love looking at the issues around the world and then use it as a justification for them to not try as hard in life. You know what I mean? They'd be like, "Oh my God, this whole COVID situation is being passed through 5G." It's like, what? But all of a sudden, it's an excuse for him to not go to work less hard, not care. It kind of opens up the door for like just giving up more often. They look at. I remember one time it was just like there was a volcano in New Zealand. It's like, what the hell does New Zealand have to do with anything? But it was like an excuse. It was like, oh my God, did you hear what happened? And it's like, all right, cool,
I'm devastated.
Bro, rent is due. Like, what are you
devastated.
talking about?
I gotta call out of work. I'm sorry, boss. What happened? What happened, baby? Volcano.
So the point I was bringing up, the reason why I mentioned that is because you were talking about like, hey, the world could be on fire, but you have to make the effort to go find a path away from the fire. A lot of people love to just sit in the fire.
Yep.
They sit in the fire and then they post on their Facebook status and they post pictures about the fire.
I don't want to talk about it.
And all of a sudden, it's a justification for them to not get up and find a way out. Listen, people will go through tough times. People will go through struggles, and we're not undermining the struggles whatsoever.
And you're going through it.
But to have the positive outlook, once again, to think, hey, there should be a path out of here. There should be a path away from the fire, away to safety. It will automatically force you to go in the direction of safety. So, yeah, let's not find justifications for our failures, especially the things out of our control. People love to take what's out of their control and apply it and blame it for their own personal failures.
Hence the whole New Zealand
volcano. They blame it for their own personal failures. Yeah. It's just not a good insight to have. You and I are going through and learning and growing with each and every day. There is no way that what it is that we talk about is going to be over encompassing and is going to have the answers to everything. And we could be wrong. Some of the times we could be right, some of the times. But if it's an experience that's worth sharing, that somebody else can benefit from, somebody else can say, hey, maybe I'm not doing too bad, or hey, I'm going through that same exact situation. Maybe our insight could be helpful, but by no means are we receiving revelation.
Yeah, but it's also,
I thought you were about to be like, speak for yourself.
It's comforting to know that you're not going through it alone.
Yes.
Right? That you do have a support group, mm-hmm. right, of other people who are willing to do this. Like when you told me about Mexico, I was like, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down.
Mm-hmm.
Small game, let's do it, dude. Yeah. Give me a reason to go to Mexico. But alhamdulillah, it's good to know that you're not going through it alone. And it's very important to have a group of close people in your life, whether it's family, whether it's friends,
mm-hmm.
for you to truly rely on, to have these conversations, to know that they got your back. Because sometimes family may not cut it. They may not be that group, or they may be that group for certain situations, but you have other groups for other situations, right? And I feel like just having that person, or maybe that couple people that you could talk to is, it's a mastermind. That is what the ultra rich do. That's what other successful people do. They have a group of people that they discuss how their business is doing, and then they're like, try to do this or try to do that. So that way you have multiple people thinking about a solution than just you. So as a man, we love to just deal with it.
Oh man.
We let it linger in our minds. We let it bug the heck out of it. And your mom would probably go up to you. Your homie would go up to you. What's wrong, man? Are you good? No, man, I'm just good, man. Just brush it off with a fake smile and just keep life going. I do that all the time. I'm not here to be like, you should not do that.
That makes the both of us, bro.
But situational. If it's a situation that you know that, like, you know what, I don't want to burden my mom with something, or I don't want to burden my friends with some sort of small situation that you know that you can handle, right? It's just annoying. That's all, right? Then I keep it to myself. But if it's like a major situation where I'm just like, dude, I have to speak up on this. Like, I can't sleep at night, or I can't eat properly, or whatever sort of thing that you're going through, it's really important to have that person or that group of people that you can lean on, mm-hmm. that you can talk to, and that are truly there for you.
Which actually brings up a very good point about how important it is to just expand your network. Because like you said it, certain people are going to have certain solutions for specific problems. In this example, or like in the example of any business, when you have a huge network with people doing all sorts of different types of business, people who are dealing with all sorts of issues on the day-to-day basis.
That's specific to their industry.
That's specific to an industry that you're in. Something that seems like a big issue for you, once you talk to a person who's been in that same industry for years, they've scaled it up to the maximum, more often than not, they'll look at your problem and they'll just be like, oh, bro, all you got to do is X, Y, and Z. Boom. And it's done. And they make it seem as if your problem was no problem whatsoever. So it's important to have that network of people, like you said.
Yeah, and going back to it, the whole business analogy, it's like, let's be honest. The only reason I'm not bringing up all the issues to my mom or to my, to whatever it is, right? Because, as an Arab man, your mom,
yeah,
that's everything.
We're all naturally mama's boys.
How we are.
Yeah.
All of us. I'm not going to go up to my mom and be like, hey, mom, I have a situation that's going on with the cars in Mexico or whatever it is. Because she's going to be like, Make dua.
Yeah. No, moms are really good at like the spiritual motivation.
They'll comfort us like it's okay, Habibi, or they'll probably do the complete opposite of, oh my God, what happened? Why did you call the police? What happened? And that would just make the situation. I mean, and that whole thing, right? It's always good to have or ask questions accordingly. If it's like business related, it's all good to always have like that whole mastermind concept of other people who are doing something similar, or at least in business, right? Because for the most part, business they have very similar issues, whether it's staffing, whether it's employees, whether it's just a day to day, whether it's malfunctioning, products or whatever it is. It's very specific. It gets very specific from time to time when it comes down to like actual like your cars in Mexico, right? Maybe a manufacturer that has nothing to do with anything. He or she makes the actual product at a warehouse. It never leaves, right? A UPS truck will come in, pick it up. They don't have to deal with their shipment randomly going to Mexico. And if it is, that's what insurance is for. But they'll have at least some sort of like a solution or at least some sort of input. Mm-hmm. That input's important. And they won't freak you out. They'll calm you down and be like, you know what? All right, maybe I was tripping out. Let's try this because I have nothing else to try.
Imagine you go up to a mentor with a specific issue, starts freaking out. Dude, are you serious? No way, bro. Dog, you're supposed to help me.
Where's my vape?
Depression stick. Yeah, no, I mean, funny enough, to kind of like circle back to the beginning, when stuff happens, it makes you lose motivation, right? When negative things happen in your life, it really just kind of shuts you down. It makes you want to give up. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because that's what I've been experiencing. A couple of bad apples go by, and then all of a sudden it was just like my creative side is shut off. I'm not in the mood to do anything, and I was like, let's make this the topic of conversation today. Because one, it's genuine. Two, as we mentioned, other people can learn from it. They can apply it. They can see their own situations, whatever the case is. But three, it was because I wasn't even motivated to do this. I wasn't even motivated to do this anymore. So I was like, you know what? Let's make this the topic of conversation then.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's beneficial, hopefully.
And think about it though, is like, here we are. We're doing it. Mm-hmm. How many times did you not want to go to the gym? But you still go.
I went twice today.
There you go. But you still do it. If you don't feel like doing something that you know that you have to do, that just shows you the importance of it.
Even if you have a high expectation of how you're going to perform every time you do whatever it is you need to do, hey man, nobody's perfect. You're going to just, the whole point, I like the gym analogy is actually perfect. Sometimes you go to the gym, you have a good gym day. Sometimes you go to the gym, you have a bad gym day, right? You don't get the right pump. It's not, for some reason, your energy's off, not enough sleep, blah, blah, blah. You can try to go into whatever the factors are, but the fact that you made it to the gym is all that matters.
Yep.
Because the reps that you get in that session is what's going to have an effect to your overall physique. Mm-hmm. So whatever it is that you need to do, whether it's work-related, life-related, whatever the case is, doing it, even if it's not done 100%, doing it is more important. Just getting it done.
Getting it done, man. But if you're not going to push yourself to do great for yourself, then do not expect anyone else to. Mm-hmm. Right? I know that could have possibly been worded better, but I believe you got it. If you don't want to go to the gym and stay healthy, if you don't want to do good at your job, if you don't want to do good on your business or whatever it is, who else is going to actually push you? Now, when we were young kids, our parents would always push us. You do your homework. Make sure you do your homework. You study for your tests. Did you take a shower? Did you brush your teeth? Did you do this? Mm-hmm. But when we're like, we're 27 now. No one's asking us that. It'll be weird if someone, literally, if I'll ask you, did you brush your teeth?
That'd be awkward.
It would be like, what?
Get a life, dude.
Right? Exactly. We automatically assume that responsibility that I need to do these things without no one even asking me, right? Because I just have to do it. But when it comes down to this, the whole analogy is like, if you don't push yourself for greatness, no one will.
Nobody's going to pay your bills except you. That's why they're your bills.
Yep.
Got to get them done.
That's your problem. That's your responsibility. Whatever you want to name it. That's on you. It's not on anyone else. It's your situation, and you have to get it done.
Yeah, I just realized that's a good ending that ties into what you wanted to talk about. Because I just remembered what you wanted to talk about.
Yep.
Accountability.
Accountability.
Oh, man. Matic, take the floor.
All right, so where do I start?
Start with the letter O.
Yikes. Well, that's all, guys.
Oh, we're leaving it for episode 4.
Oh, dude, accountability is definitely going to be episode 4. I'm super excited to talk about it. I feel like accountability is such a huge, huge thing that many people overlook, that many people don't want to take responsibility for.
Mm-hmm.
It's never me, it's you. So I don't want to dive into it too much right now, even though I'm pretty sure I can. But I feel like this is a good way to keep you guys hooked, and hopefully you guys stick around to episode 4.
Yeah. And at the end there, you were kind of explaining the self-accountability.
Mm.
And even when you're going through the pressures of life, nobody's going to hold your hand.
It's true.
Somebody might hold your hand, but they're not going to take you where you need to go. You have to hold yourself accountable in order to get things done, in order to stay on your feet. And with that being said, we appreciate y'all so much for listening, and goodbye.
Have a good night, guys.